I'm Carissa Chappelle at REITWeek in New York, and joining me today is Mike Barnello, President and CEO of LaSalle Hotel Properties. Where do you see the hotel sector today in terms of recovery? Are business and leisure travelers making a comeback?
The hotel business is in great shape. After suffering some significant downturns in 2008 and 2009, the recovery started in 2010 when demand started to come back. And we've seen that in 10, 11, and continued in 12. And supply has been much lower in 11 and is really very low in 2012. And with the combination of low supply and increased demand is a very healthy story for the lodging industry. When you look at corporate and leisure business, really I wouldn't say it's necessarily come back in 2012. It's that it really started to come back more in 10 and 11, and it continues to be stable in 2012. And that's what we're hoping that continues not just this year, but for the next couple of years.
So tell me, how were you able to deal with the challenge of cutting costs during the recession without compromising guest satisfaction?
A lot of the things we did weren't necessarily easy, but we had a newfound appreciation for what was a fixed cost and what was a variable cost. And while I would never wish going through that time again on anybody, it was very helpful in retooling our business to become much more efficient. We were able to look at really every single line item of expenses and rethink what we were offering to evaluate whether we were spending too much money on it or even focusing on it entirely in the wrong direction. And that's led us to a lot of best practices, which from our perspective have helped us have industry-leading margins, not just in 2009, but for the last couple of years, and our hope is to continue that. But it wasn't any fun.
Have you noticed any emerging trends in the hotel space?
What I would say is that, building on something that started a number of years ago, is that the guests continue to look for more of what they want. They're more particular about some of the amenities that they require. And so from our perspective, whether it's Wi-Fi or coffee in the rooms or newspapers, we tend to offer all of those things, but we don't necessarily give them away to all the travelers in advance, and we have them available for folks if they need them. And but folks are more savvy in terms of how they make their buying decisions. They expect a quality room. They can see transparency in pricing in terms of what you can see on the internet with all of the online travel agencies, as well as whatever your hotel is selling directly. And the combination of a more savvy consumer and a more particular consumer means that we have to be on top of our game to make sure that we can satisfy them and win them over so they can come the first time but also come back.
Thank you for joining us, Michael.
Thanks, Carissa.
I'm Carissa Chappelle for REIT.com.